go back to this slide, you would see that the first step is completed. Now we have to go to the second step, which is validating the data. So this is a validation program which will see whether your data complies with the setups in RMCS, right? So we have deliberately entered the data in a way that it does not fail the validation. So hopefully this process or this step will be successful as well. So let's see that. Okay, so again, go to schedule new process and change the program name to validate tab out. So this program, you can see here, validate customer contract source data. Okay, validates the imported revenue lines, transform master data and assigns transaction period. Okay, click on OK and then click on OK. So there is no parameter which is required in this program. It will just validate the data and this process is submitted. Okay, now what happens is, during a validation process, it will check whether the data is correct or if it is missing some information which is mandatory and you need to take any corrective action based on the validation results. So we will see that there is a sheet which is provided by Oracle where you can correct these errors and reload the data again. Okay, so I've just clicked on refresh button and it is, I think, getting ready. Then it will be completed. Okay, now it is running. So there is a child program which it has kicked in, sub-process program. That program is completed, and there is another program, similar program, which is kicked in. So there are 3 programs now, one parent, 2 child program. Okay, so this one also got completed, and the parent program is now also, I think, getting completed. So it is saying paused. Okay, succeeded. So all the 3 programs are completed now. So we need to see the data which we have sent, whether it has succeeded in validation or not. The actual program status will not tell that. It will only tell whether the program is completed or not. Okay, now we need to navigate again to the RMCS screen and we need to check the worksheet where we can validate the data, and if there is any data which has failed the validation. Okay, so I will go back to more here and then to RMCS. So in the RMCS screen, here only where you see the contracts, you need to click on this and you can see correct contract documents, error and spreadsheets. Okay, so this is again a FBDI template which is provided by Oracle to check the errors if there are any and reprocess that data. Okay, so I hit on this and it will download a XLS file. Okay, it is downloaded. Now I click on this and it will open it will open an Excel where you can check the data and you can take the corrective action. Okay, so this is the original, so this is that sheet. Now click on enable. It is still loading. It has some macros, I think. So it has loaded now. You can see, so in the first sheet it says count of error records. So you can see at the line level there is 1 error record. Okay, at the header level there is no error, and subline level also there is no error. So you need to check what exactly is this error at the line level, and this is against this business unit. Okay, so if you go to the header, it is still, it does this reprocessing and you need to select the business unit. So just check whether your business unit, US business unit, is here. So it is not here. So it means that at the header level there is no data which is incorrect from your file. Okay, if it is incorrect, it would have come here with that business unit which you are using in your sheet. So you need to know. So in your sheet you have used the business unit which was US business unit, right? US 1 business unit. In this sheet we do not see any business unit in the drop down like that. US1 business unit. So it means that there is no issue in the header level, at the header level. Now at the line level, it is going to check and tell you whether there is an error. So here in business unit, if you click on drop down, you will see US1 business unit. So need to further select that, because it could be an error with your data to your business unit, right? So once I selected this, I need to click on search here on the ribbon, and it will process the data, and it came up with this data and this line and the error that you need to take action on. Okay, so it says UOM code is invalid for item in the given inventory organization. You must provide a valid UOM code. So we need to go to that column which is called as UOM code. So here we can see this is the column UOM. So it says EA. So EA is the value which we provided, and we thought that this is the correct value based on the item configuration, but it says it is not the correct value. Okay, so what we need to do is you need to delete this data and double click on this cell. It will come up with the list of values in this dialog box, and here you can see by UOM you can search which all UOM are present, which you can choose. So EA is there, you can see that unit of measure is there, EA, but the code for that UOM code which the system expects is ZZU. So you need to select this and the correct UOM will follow. So basically our code was different, and that's why the system was throwing this error that the UOM is different, or UOM is not compliant with the item in the inventory org. So EA is, as you know, unit of measure is correct, but the code is different. Code is ZZU, so it's a very weird code. Somebody has done the setup, you know, which is very confusing, but you need to accept this. So you have selected ZZU as the UOM code. Rest of the data is okay: quantity, unit selling price, amount, and list price. Satisfaction plan also you provided. Start and end date we also provided. So rest of the data is fine. Okay, there's no other error which is thrown here. So once you have changed the UOM code, you again reprocess the data using the upload option here. Okay, so again it is reprocessing. Just click on OK. Okay, so it says row updated successfully, and there is a job which is submitted. So it will submit the validate program in the background again. If you go back to the instance, there would be a validated validate customer contract program submitted again after you have done the upload. Okay, so you just need to close this. Row updated successfully, just to confirm that your row is no longer there in the sheet, in the error sheet. You just need to click on search. It will search with this business unit again, and you will see that the row has gone. So there is no error now in this. Okay, against US business unit. Okay, so there is no error now. If you go back to the instance, and again go to schedule process, so you will see that this program okay, so you would see that the program is again submitted here. Okay, just 2 minutes ago it was submitted, right? Okay, so going back to the slide again. So we have done this step: correct any error from the validate data process using the document error spreadsheet. Okay, so this process is completed. So we have validated the data, we have corrected the data, and we have again reprocessed that data, right? Now the last step remains, which is run the identify customer process to create your contract and the performance obligation. Okay, we are going to run this program, but this is not going to generate the contract right now because there is an issue with this program in this instance. Hopefully we will have this rectified by next week and we can then see our contract which is created, but we are going to check the program anyway. So as I said that in RMCS or in ASC 606 accounting principle, this single program does all your 5 steps. Okay, so the 5 steps of the revenue framework you should learn by heart, which is identify the customer contract, identify the performance obligations associated, then determine the transaction price considering variable consideration, and fourth is allocate that transaction price using the standalone selling price, and fifth is satisfy the performance obligation and recognize the revenue. Okay, so those are the 5 steps, and this single program does all that in RMCS. Identify customer contracts. Okay, you can see identify customer contract. Okay, I'll click on OK and you will see these options here. You can select by ledger if you have access by ledger, but it's not a mandatory field. Then whether it gives you an option if you want to do the accounting at this time or not. So it's like the create accounting in EBS, and then if you want to do the transfer to general ledger, post in general ledger and all that. Okay, we are going to submit this. So in an ideal case we would have created the contract. At this time, due to some limitation, we do not have, the program is not working as expectedly. Hopefully by next week I think we should be able to see our contract, but this this is the last step in the contract creation or revenue recognition. Okay, and there is no further step we need to do to create a contract. So this much information is sufficient for you to work on RMCS if you want to create the contracts from scratch. So today we have learned how to create the contract from scratch. It's just that the last step is not covered where the contract is actually created. Okay, so here you can see this is a big program, identify customer contract. It has kicked in a lot of programs here. So first is revenue recognize revenue of customer contract. Then it is importing billing data also. If you are providing the billing data, then it imports the billing data also. So there is a billing FBDI template provided by Oracle. The revenue and invoicing data, revenue and invoicing can be done separately in RMCS. So you have a separate billing data template which you can use for invoicing the customers. So this billing data imports the billing data into RMCS, and then there are further programs which will get kicked in if this is working fine. At the moment it is still running. You can see that the billing program is still running. So it is completed now. Okay. Yeah, so all the programs are completed now, but there are more programs here. I mean, when you run the main program identify customer contract, it spawns something like 6-7 programs, and then you have your contract is created. So once this step is done, you need to go back to RMCS again. So here you can go back to RMCS and you can check your contract whether it is created or not. So I think it is not created because I have already checked that earlier, but still need to go to see and check it. So manage customer contract date, you can put the date of the contract which was 1st of May. Okay, this is a mandatory field, so you have to provide either of the fields which are marked as mandatory. So double star means mandatory. So you can provide any one of the fields which are mandatory. So I provided date. Here I have selected the value as after. So after means that I will select a value of 1st April, and after that any contract which is created I can search on that. Okay. So I click on search. So here it says no data to display. So it could be a problem that the contract is actually created, but this user does not have the required roles or permission to access this data, and hence you cannot see that data. So we are working on that with the technical team, with the team which takes care of this instance. And once they provide the proper role to this user, you would be able to check the contract. But as far as process is concerned, and if you go back to the slide, this is what it is. You just have to run the last step of the program, and you just need to review the contract. Okay.